We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hey, welcome to the Supernatural Hour. This is your host, Raven.
This is Rogue.
This is Chad.
And this is Emmet.
Well, we are back for another fabulous episode of the Supernatural Hour. But first, Chad, do you have some business for us?
Yeah, we do have some business. It's brought to you today by Castle Photo Art. You can go out to castlephotoart.com. They do great jobs with the photography. We just want to say thank you to our patrons and for all of the support that they give us. We really appreciate their help. And if you want to become a patron and help support the Supernatural Hour, our podcast, go out to patrons and help us out.
Can I say something to one of our patrons?
Yes, you can say whatever you'd like.
But he loves us, so Connor, I'm getting your mug sent to you. Christmas, you got crazy busy. Sorry, I'll get that ordered tomorrow. We haven't forgotten you.
It's coming.
Aw, we love Connor and Lorianne. Big shout out.
All right. And then we do have an upcoming investigation at the Town Center Hub in American Fork on January 15th. Go out to advancedparanormal.com to look for tickets for that event. It's going to be a great time.
It's an old theater. It's an old sticky shoe. And as you know, all theaters are haunted. Old places are haunted. It's an old theater, which equals haunted.
Yeah, so, from the 1930s. And we have access to pretty much the whole thing.
Well, we did a walkthrough, and there was a party going on, so it was kind of hard to get some feels, but there were definitely two spirits sitting in the empty theater that we wandered through, so it'll be active.
Yeah, that projection room upstairs was pretty cool. There's a lot of areas, so we're really looking forward to this new venue.
And when are we doing that event?
That's Saturday, January 15th.
January 15th.
Coming right up.
It's about time. It's been a little quiet. I'm excited to get out and do something.
It's hard to do stuff during the holidays because everyone's just too busy. So I'm excited to get back in on our regular every 6-week haunt. And we've got some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, it's been since October. Yeah. All right. Well, we haven't really done much for residentials. We had one. It rescheduled for tomorrow. So on the next podcast, we are going to have a residential for you.
Yeah, they got sick.
However,
we were going to have one for this week, but they got sick. So
yeah, that happens,
that time
especially during a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
And winter. Everyone's always sick every winter, pandemic or no.
Right. Everyone at work is sick. Speaking of, so we have Emmet, and he is going to talk a little bit about work and his office and what's been going on.
Well, you remember we actually investigated this as a group a while back, and that whole building was pretty haunted. And I had Raven found the guy that liked to sit in my office chair. But every time I'd go in there, he'd run out of the room. And so, that's okay. That's been several months. So that was last summer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it was about a week ago, wasn't it? And I was on doing a Marco Polo with Raven. And I'm sitting there talking, and all of a sudden this little orb about the size of a marble just goes flying right in front of my face, just between my face and the phone. And I noticed it, and I said something, but I thought, it could have been dust or something. So I went back to my Marco Polo, and it couldn't have been a minute later, and another one came by, and I thought, well, either something's going on or I'm losing my mind. So I finished the video, and I went back and looked at it, and the first one wasn't caught, but the second one was in frame and clearly seen. So that got me to pull out some of the EMF gear, and I've been getting weird EMF readings at different times of day. High EMFs when the office below me isn't occupied and there's nothing on in there. So I think something might be going on. We've also we've looked at ley lines, which is interesting because there's the biggest nexus of ley lines in the western United States is in northern Utah, and it's not too far from where we work there. And one of these ley lines actually passes through Skinwalker Ranch and that nexus by our employer, and another one passes through my house, first Rogue's house, my house, and our employer in that nexus. So I think there's a lot of things happening right now. Is some of the other employees have even noticed more activity than usual. Things, noises like 5 in the morning that aren't usual, and they're seeing more movement out of the corner of their eye. So I really want us to get back in there again as a team soon and see if something is really going on.
Yeah, that would be fun. And the thing about those orbs that you saw is, when I see an orb in a photo, you have to kind of discount it unless you see it yourself, because it could be dust, it could be moisture, it could be a myriad of things. And so there's a few ways to decide if it's possibly paranormal or not. We've talked about it before. You have to look at the direction the dust is going, first of all,
right,
and the way that the orb moves, and you hope that you catch it in your photo. But the interesting thing that I find with these orbs that you saw in the Marco Polo is you saw them with your naked eye.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
when you see an orb with your naked eye, that's usually not dust, it's usually not moisture, it's usually...
And it wasn't even a foot in front of my face, too. And that's... The first one wasn't even caught on the Marco Polo, and I noticed that one.
Right, it's probably the guy saying, "Get out of my chair."
Well, I've had the SLS in there, too, and he hasn't appeared, so...
Get out of my chair, Chuck. That's what he's saying.
Time to try for some EVPs.
Okay, well,
did you do an EVP session today?
What I did today, I did an experimental, I did 3 experimental Marco Polos, just to my wife, Trix, and she, she didn't have to reply or anything. I just let it run and sat there and looked at it, and, a total of maybe, 20 or 30 minutes, I didn't see a thing, so there was nothing today. And I did a little night vision segment yesterday, probably about 15 or 20 minutes. I didn't catch anything there and had an audio running. So, it's most of the time when you're looking, they don't want to play. But, I think we got lucky with the Marco Polo orbs. Maybe we'll get lucky again. Okay,
so I have to just mention something. Emmet usually has like a full beard goatee. And as men are wont to do, they occasionally shave it off, to let the face breathe, whatever. Rogue and Emmet are both zooming in today, and just every time I look at Emmet, it's like, who is that? Because there's no beard. It's still freaking me out just a little. It's starting to come in. He sat closer to the video, so it's starting to come in. But every time I
can have him
draw it
in. Yeah.
Just get a Sharpie, draw it in.
Yeah.
Chad, do you have a bucket list for us?
Yeah, I do have a bucket list. I was looking for some interesting things, and one of the things that I'd like to go to is in Hartford, Connecticut. It is not the ancient Ram Inn. It's a little newer than that. It's from the 1870s, 1874. It's Mark Twain's home in Hartford, Connecticut. It's a museum. It's also got haunted background. There's a lot of activity that goes on there that they've had over the years. I just think it'd be a really fascinating place to go and see, both from the historical literary part with Mark Twain, and it's the Samuel Clemens home. Of course, that's Mark Twain was the pen name for Samuel Clemens and his wife, and they lived there for a number of years. And then there were some financial problems with the country, and they moved to England for a little while, and then they never came back. But they were there for quite a few years, and he wrote most of his famous literary books, Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer, a lot of those while at that home.
See, and when you mentioned that it was Mark Twain's house, I totally expected you to tell me it was in, Missouri. And when you said it was in Connecticut, I thought, what?
Yeah, I think Hannibal, Missouri was his boyhood home. This was the home that he built as an adult, and after a noted author, and it's a gorgeous home. Old, it's really a really neat looking home. I'll include some pictures in the YouTube video of it. But yeah, Tiffany furnishings and glass, and it's just very, very classic, but very, very different than a lot of the other homes. I mean, it's 70s, but it doesn't look like other homes. It's very distinctive.
And it's got a known paranormal history.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, they do tours for the paranormal there. They do the regular museum tours and the other ones too. But yeah, it was kind of funny when they were talking about it. They said for a long time they didn't tell anybody about the paranormal part of the things that were going on, and in the last, I guess it's been since like 2012 or maybe a little before that they've started to actually embrace the haunted paranormal aspects of the home.
It's become a selling point.
Yeah, where before it was like, don't tell anybody, people won't come. And now I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, it's haunted too? But it's a beautiful home, and it looks like a really neat place to go, and a lot of history.
Yeah, the paranormal is so popular that it's more of a selling point now than a
drawback.
All right, check out our shop at advancedparanormal.com. You can pick up some sage rollers, sage sprays, some lip balms. We've got all different kinds of stuff out there at that shop. And also, please check us out on social media. We're on YouTube, TikTok. That's where we're mainly at, TikTok. I see us posting quite a bit on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. It's been fun. I like TikTok.
It's been a while since I've been on Facebook. I don't know. Well, we're on Facebook too.
We are.
Check us out. We're everywhere.
TikTok's more fun because you can put fun music on it.
Yeah, TikTok is kind of funner, unfortunately.
Before the junk drawer, I want to remind you about Supernatural Hour swag at advancedparanormal.com. I'm sure Santa didn't bring all of us the paranormal things we wanted, so be sure to check that out and maybe find something that you would like or somebody else would like or you need for your kit.
Tapestries are awesome. Okay, our junk drawer today, I actually have to turn and look at my computer because it was too weird to print. So what we're going to talk about is 13 haunts that are very unique in nature. So the first one is called Ruby Falls Haunted Cavern. It's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I've been there.
To Chattanooga or this haunted house?
It's not a haunted house. It's a waterfall inside a cave.
Well, they have a haunt there.
I didn't know that.
They do. So you actually have to go down like in an elevator to get to the cavern.
And I would love to go to a haunted cave. That sounds so awesome.
Well, there's actually 2 on this list. So the other one is called the USS Nightmare, and it is located in Newport, Kentucky. I have been to Kentucky. I have not been to this. It's a haunted steamboat, and it looks about as plumb as the ancient Ram Inn.
That's what I was thinking.
If someone said
about as seaworthy.
Yeah, if someone said, "Hey, let's set this out to sea," I'd be like, "No, let me get off first."
We're going on the USS Nightmare.
So there's one called the Factory of Terror, and it is in Canton, Ohio.
And then you can hit the Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually in 160,000 square foot abandoned warehouse. So it's technically the largest haunted house in the country. It's even in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the largest haunted house in the country.
That sounds like it's bigger than Emmet's place.
Wow.
So this one is one of my favorites, simply because it's called Raven's Grin Inn. It's mine. It's mine now. Well, go tell them that. This is located in Mount Carroll, Illinois, and it is a year-round haunted house. You can go there in April if you wanted, or just some random day in August if you feel like.
What's the cuteness factor on this one?
It's pretty cute.
Okay.
I would have to give this, the building, okay, if Ram's Inn is like a 10 on the cuteness level, if 10 is the upper limit, the Ram's Inn gets like a 15 and a half. This place gets a solid 8.
I thought the Ram's Inn looked like a dump.
If it comes up for sale, we're buying it.
It's a cute dump.
It's beautiful. Okay, so the other haunted cave is called the Lewisburg Haunted Cave, and it is in Lewisburg, Ohio. And this one, I think you have to bat dodge. If you go there, this one's got the bats. So, that just kind of adds to the whole creepy factor, but you might get some poo.
Yeah, I think I could do without the bats.
Okay, so the next one on our list is called the Vault of Souls, and it is in Tampa, Florida, and it's actually in an old bank, so like some old bank vaults and stuff like that.
The Vault of Souls.
Sounds something like Indiana Jones.
It does. So boats are also on another boat. This is another boat. This one is called Ghost Boat, so not very creative on the name. Ghost Boat. It's a boat. It's got ghosts.
Another boat.
Ghost boat.
And it's in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin.
Another boat's the Queen Mary, which is very haunted.
And this one, yes it is. And I think that one might be on the list if I remember correctly. So I wonder, I realize that these are set up attractions, but just with boats in general, just on the water, and water being a conduit for spiritual energy, makes me wonder if these ghost boats have actual ghosts. I don't know.
I've heard that every boat is haunted.
So this one doesn't have a picture, and every boat that I have heard of, and there are so many ghost boat ship stories. Yeah, I do not doubt that statement, Emmet, at all. This one doesn't have a picture of the ghost boat, so I don't know if it's cute or not. Zero cuteness factor here because I've got nothing.
Maybe it's transparent and you can't see it. Because it's a ghost boat.
That's really bad.
Just pay the money.
Really bad. Okay.
Trust us, it's there.
See how magical it is? Just pay us.
It's on the SLS. We see it's right there.
Oh, that's so bad. Okay, so this next one is called the McCamey Manor. It's in San Diego, California. And this one is creepy. Have you guys heard of this one before?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so this one is unique. It's not so much for its looks or its location, but if you go to the website, it states that it's an extreme haunt experience. There are some really key guidelines you need to know before you go. This is not your typical walk through, a few little jump scare kind of a haunted house. The typical tour through this one often lasts a few hours. Some have been known to be in here for 7 hours, and no one has ever made it through. They've even had combat-trained military soldiers go through, and they have not made it through. You have to get a reservation, you have to be 21, and you have to sign a waiver. Groups can be no larger than 2 people. The owner says you don't want to do this, which I don't get. Why would you open an attraction and then tell people that they don't want to come? And I get it, probably reverse psychology, but still it seems weird. The article that I pulled up, the people that wrote it have a disclaimer that says the editors of this particular article have never experienced this, so they're only sharing what they have read. I have never been here either, so I'm only sharing what other people have read. But they can tell you, meaning I can tell you, it's definitely a unique physical and mental challenge for people that are brave enough to try it. They say if you do want to do this, they would advise you to watch some of the YouTube videos that are available. But they say it just doesn't really prepare you for what's inside. The one picture they've got posted looks creepy. They've got a guy in there like squirting something in his mouth. I don't like it. Number 9 on our list of 13 is called the Hydro Haunt. This is in Fremont, Ohio. It's actually in a decommissioned power plant, and it was used by the city for more than 30 years. So it was their water plant. They have multiple attractions. In 2015, folks at the Hydro presented their fans with a new experience called the Shock Collar Experience Torture Chamber. Not exactly sure what that means.
Sign me up.
I think I will pass on that particular room. You have to be 18 and you have to sign a death waiver. And I like a good haunted house, but if I have to sign a waiver, probably not going to go through your haunted house. We have people sign waivers for our ghost hunts, but that's for like tripping and falling over cords.
It's not a death waiver, per se.
Per se. Number 10 is called the Cutting Edge Haunted House. This is in Fort Worth, Texas. It's kind of, they call it a butcher-esque. Not a burlesque, a butcher-esque. This actually takes place in an abandoned meatpacking facility that's 100 years old. So
I've heard of this place.
Have you heard of this one?
I think so, yeah. That's just, the setting is creepy.
Yeah, they say that some of the equipment that was previously used is still there, and so they use it as part of their decor. The haunt's about an hour in length. It holds the current Guinness World Record for the largest haunt, as far as like time. We had one on the list that was the biggest as in square feet. This one's the longest as in time. They have a drum line outside, so while you're waiting to get in, you are entertained with a drum line. And I like drum lines. If you've never listened to one, they're amazing. It's open for most of the major holidays in the off season. So if you want to go like on the 4th of July or President's Day or Easter, I don't know. It's not just Halloween. So, Chad, number 11 is the Queen Mary.
Okay.
Also a ship. It's in Long Beach, California. I have investigated the Queen Mary on the sly. I was a rebel.
Wow.
You want to hear my rebel moment?
Yeah.
It was actually there. They have a Long Beach bagpipe competition, which they have just right there by the Queen Mary. You stare at the Queen Mary all day. And so I took ghost hunting equipment, and the Queen Mary is a hotel now, so you can just wander on and wander around. And we kind of wandered around until I saw a gate that said, "Do not enter."
And so what did she do?
I entered. And I had my K2, and I ghost hunted.
Cool.
So there you go. If you put a sign that says "Don't enter," I can't guarantee that I won't just enter anyway.
Well, especially at a haunted venue.
It's the Queen Mary.
Yeah.
You can't not ghost hunt the Queen Mary. Okay, number 12 is called Terror on the Fox, and this is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this has a cuteness factor. It kind of reminds me of the Munsters. In the picture I'm looking at, they've got a green light shining on the house. I'm sure it's not actually green, but it kind of looks kind of Gothic Revival-esque.
Huh.
I can see the Munsters living here. So this has I don't know if it's a cuteness factor, but it has kind of a cool factor.
1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
So this is actually the National Railroad Museum. It hosts a charity attraction. It has real working train on it. They're one of 3 haunted house attractions in the United States that uses a real passenger train in their show. They've got high-tech props, animatronics, optical illusions, and a lot more. So this, as far as props, is probably way up there. They go a little beyond fog machine and video. Okay, and the last one, in case you just want to have a little haunted house with some crocodiles, you can go to the haunted airboat ride. Again, another...
the haunted airboat ride?
Another boat, but it's an airboat ride. It's in Melbourne, Florida.
This is the loudest haunt in the world.
Yeah, you don't really need to worry about setting up the recording device.
6-foot propeller and V8 engine right behind you.
Right? It says, I'm just going to read this because this one's kind of fun. This particularly unique haunted experience takes place at Camp Holly on the St. Johns River on select nights in October, so it's not whenever you want, but you ride an airboat at night, which in and of itself is spooky enough for some. Throw in some classic haunted fun and alligators, and what more could you want? The line moves fairly quickly. There's about 5 boats that run per night, and each can hold 6 to 15 people. And it says a haunted trail also accompanies the boat ride. All right, that is us for tonight. Stay spooky, my haunty friends.
Love you, Nicholas.
Hey, good night.
Back to the future. See you next time.
I like that, Emmet. That's awesome.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2021 by Advanced Paranormal Services.